In this video, we are going to share with you some trading tips that you can't afford to miss. Not one, but two millionaire traders teaching you how to trade SPY, showing you a real trade from today that made us hundreds of percent and a lot of people a lot of money on SPY, and some other tips and tricks to help you make more money day trading and in the stock market.
Now I rep the O, what you know about the west side? I just bought a whip, all in cash, live my best life. Bought a couple stocks, so I'm covered for the next 5. I don't like the top, but I know.
Now, in my years of trading, I have learned that the best way to learn is not reading generic books. It's not watching pre-recorded courses that are outdated. It's learning from real examples happening in real time. So in this video, I'm bringing on one of my good friends, millionaire trader Grizzly. He live trades with me every single day in Team Bull. He's an amazing day trader, amazing scalper, and overall specifically, amazing SPY trader. So in this video, we're going to go over an exact trade that he took today, a little about his trading journey, how did he get started, why did he come to trading SPY so much, and what does he look for in his setups? And then we're going to go over some other things like trading psychology. What do we look for when we're trading SPY? How did this trade work out? How was he able to handle a little drawdown? And a lot of other tips that I think are going to change the game for you if you're looking to learn how to trade SPY, SPX, ES, or even just overall trade in the stock market. Now, before my camera moves up to the top right corner for the Zoom interview, Before my camera moves up to the top right corner for the Zoom interview, I want to introduce you guys to a good friend of mine, an amazing day trader, and someone who genuinely wants to see you win and shows that every single day on his YouTube, on all his socials, and live trading in the Team Bull Discord. Let me introduce you guys to my good friend, Grizzly Trades. Yo, what's going on, Grizzly? How we doing today?
Oh, we're doing good. Had a really good day trading. Team Bull did really well. Had a good morning trading futures. Just an all-around good day. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Good day trading as well. Missed a lot of that puts move down. Still caught a little bit, but overall $3,000 plus for the day. So can't complain. Not quite the daily goal. Sorry, what?
I think everyone paper-handed that one today for sure.
That's whenever we have big moves like today. That's typically the theme, right? So not going to catch the whole thing. But what I wanted to first start out with was tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from, Grizz? What's your story? And how did you get from not knowing how to trade, I guess, back in the day to calling 100, 200, 300% trades on SPY and creating your financial freedom?
Okay, I guess I can start with where I'm from. This may be a shock to some of you all, but I come from a very rural area in Tennessee, a country town that you probably never heard of. I grew up like most people from the area did, just very basic and very without technology. It's was held back a little bit. So anyways,
real quick, Grizz, you saying that I'm from Nebraska too, bro. Corn and cows is all we knew.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but continue.
So, I got past all that. I started working from a very young age, and started working in middle school, worked my way through high school, just doing odd jobs, cutting grass, whatever I could. I didn't come from money for sure. We didn't have much. I didn't realize how broke we was, but we was broke for sure. Anyways, I moved out when I was 18. Honestly, I slept in my truck for like 3 to 4 weeks after I moved out before I got my first job. I got a job working construction, and I worked that job for years. I worked that line of work for years. I didn't work the same company. Just a construction job, that's just what where I'm from, that's just what you do. Once you graduate, you get a job. But what I did different from everyone else, I knew I needed to invest. I met this guy. He's a very successful entrepreneur. He owned car washes, storage buildings. He's an investor, land, real estate, rentals. He did the whole, all of it. And I guess the best advice, he probably gave me the best advice anyone ever gave me. And he gave it to me when I was 18 years old. He said, I'll make this real simple. He said, I don't care. He said, you take $100 a week or whatever you can live without and save it. He said, no less than $100. And he said, just live like you didn't make it. Just invest it. And that's what I went by. I went as simple as that. I just invested, and I saved everything I could live without. And so, fast forward 10 years later, when I started getting into, well, probably 8 or 9 years later, I started getting into day trading. I always loved the market. I've been fascinated with it. I always loved the thought of owning shares of a company, like it made me part owner. I just like that. I like watching the news on it, just really interested. Then I started looking into day trading, I started seeing it online, TikTok, all this, whatever. I was like, okay, this is cool. At this point I had been swing trading quite a bit, but I was doing it with shares. It's like a mixture between swing trading and investing, but anyways, it was working out well. So I said, I'm gonna get into day trading. Then that took me down the big, rabbit hole of all the TikTok, all the Instagram, all the, just excuse me, I'm losing my voice.
And Grizz, real quick, where did you first start day trading? If I recall, wasn't that back with Team Bull and what was Mile High back in the day?
Yes, that was when I started trading options. I really, when I first joined Team Bull, I had no idea how to day trade options, and that was the game changer for me as far as trading goes.
And it's crazy too, Grizz. Like, as you progress, and we're going to get into this in a second, how you've went through small caps, then different stocks, and now you'll trade different stocks, but you are just a killer with trading SPY, and like how you've went in like two or so years now from not knowing what an option was to, making your 2, 3, 5,000 a day, $20,000 plus weeks. Like it is insane. It's motivating, not just for me, and seeing it makes me so happy, but for a lot of people watching this and for a lot of people that learn from you every day in Team Bull, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all boils down to how bad do you want it, I wanted it. I didn't go out and party. I spent all my spare time learning this. And I hear people make the excuse, like, I can't do this. I'm working 9 to 5. When I was learning this, I was working 12 plus hours night shift on a bridge.
I still remember that. You would have days when we first started that you literally you're like, hey guys, can't get on voice. The construction's going, or I'm at the site. Like I still remember those days years ago when you were working all night, or you sometimes bleed into the morning, and you were doing both, which is insane and so phenomenal for a lot of people to learn and see.
Yeah, I was literally out there running a multi-million-dollar job, trying to day trade, read books. But most people, where people fall short, after work, they're like, I'm too tired. I'm going to lay down, go turn on TV, go eat some fast food or something, And I had to train myself out of that mindset. I had to, take small steps and create better habits. And eventually, when I got off work, I was putting as much effort into learning, these high income skills as I was, at work. And I've always been, even when I worked a 9 to 5, my thought process is, I don't care what job you work, I firmly believe you should always do the best job possible. And then I brought that into trading with me.
And honestly, it shows every day. And speaking of which, I want to give you the screen in a second so you can show us kind of an insight into Grizzly's brain, what you're seeing, and how you've taken all these steps and all that you've learned and put it into action. Like today, you took that SPY trade. I'm going to let you go over that in a second. It ended up clearing what, like 200-300% or something like that on 0 DTE, something crazy.
Yeah, it went crazy. Full transparency, I didn't hold that long, but I did catch a nice trade. My original entry was around
here. Hold on, before you say that, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the screen so you can show people, not to say what happened today.
Sounds good.
So for us today, Grizz, now that you have the screen, maybe go over, for one, how you caught that big trade on SPY today. I think there's a lot that people can learn, making money going up, but not just that, but going down as well. Something we love doing in Team Bull. And for two, a little insight into how you trade SPY, what people can learn, and some tips that you wish you had that you think will change the game and hopefully help anyone watching this make money.
Okay. To do this right, I'm going to have to take you from the beginning of my morning, even a little bit into the weekend, when I was kind of doing my analysis of the overall market. So let's just look at the daily on SPY, just really quick. As you can see, we've got this huge trend line on the daily. We've come up, touch it. Some people believe if we break this, the bear market's going to be over. I don't know about that, but I know it was at it, and it has, it's been respecting this big time. So I knew if we didn't get above that 410, there's only one way to go, right? That was kind of my thought process. So now let's go back to the smaller time frames, and let's go to pre-market, before the market was open. And I'm looking at ES here, and I'm looking at SPY. I like to watch these both when I'm trading futures or when I'm trading SPY options. Now, first off, when I looked at the market this morning, I noticed it was in a downtrend on the lower time frames. So, that tells me I'm not looking for longs. One thing, we're below prior day close, and what that is what the stock / ETF closed at the day before, or in this case, what it closed at on Friday. But I noticed we was in a downtrend. I created my channel. We broke out of this channel, as you can see here on ES. Did the same thing on SPY. They move really well together. I often trade levels. Trade SPY levels with ES.
Yes, you'll base your SPY or ES trades based on each other, because the ES kind of gives you that bigger picture, and the more macro picture, obviously the bigger stock future it is.
Yes. And one thing I found,
number.
Yeah, one thing I found, it helps you not get stopped out as easy as well if you're watching them both, because you may see something on one that you don't see on the other. But now, the trade we took on SPY today, I posted it inside Team Bull. I called this trade out live in Team Bull.
And hold on real quick, Grizz. This is exactly what it looked like in Team Bull when Grizz called out this banger.
If y'all take them SPY puts with our boy Grizz, if you're printing, show the love, baby. Give it a boom. Let's go. Are we printing on the puts, baby? Are we nuking it, or are we not nuking it?
Continue. Keep going.
All right. So in my channel, I said I'm watching SPY for a reject at 404.5. I said I'm going to add my position here. If we push on up to 405, I'll add a little more. Because if you look back here, we got VWAP on ES. That was my rationale for adding more at the 405 area.
For puts.
Yeah, for put options.
For
Correct.
puts, not calls.
So we pulled up, I seen her push up. I was watching volume. We did not have a huge increase on this candle of buying volume. So that tells me chances are we could fail. If we've seen like a huge increase in buying volume at this level, I'm like, okay, they could possibly push it a little further than I want to hold. But that didn't happen here. I said, okay, I'm in puts. When we touched this 404.5 level, we got in. And I said, if we push to 405, I will add. We never quite got there, so I didn't add to my position.
Like 4 cents away. Like 4 cents
away. Yeah, I was being a little cautious there, but we my fill was around, I think it was, if I'm remembering right, I believe it was around $120 per contract. I had the 404 put options expiring tomorrow. And it's just a beautiful trade. We trimmed on the way down, adjusted our stop loss, kind of walked everyone through my execution. Then we held this for a while, actually. Unfortunately, I think my last sale was at 200, which is a very good trade. I mean, where else can you get that sort of return in minutes besides day trading? I don't believe there's anywhere. But, we had data that came out at 10, and it just had a huge move down. Unfortunately, I was all out of it by then, but the contracts did go to above $300 per put option off this move down. Some
That's
Team
crazy.
Bull members were still holding. I'm telling you, we got some diamond handlers in Team Bull.
It's because they're learning, man. They're learning. It's awesome.
I was looking through the gains, and the members were making more than I was off this trade. I was like, okay,
That's awesome. So we saw that, you saw that break of that trend pre-market. And I want to note too, that is a great mindset to have, is you went into the day knowing, okay, we're in a downtrend. So now that we know that our pre-market is a downtrend, we're likely going to look for areas to reject. And until that thesis breaks, we're going to keep that mindset. We're not going to be 100% biased, but you have to kind of know the direction of the market to look which way you're going to trade, right? So you find that level, you find your levels, you're watching volume, you're watching price action, and then you're able to execute based on all those little things coming together. So, I feel like a good way to put this, and you can elaborate on this if you like, is that trading is kind of like having a strong military. You have different branches, you have different branches of your military, you have different branches of your trading that all determine different things and all contribute to you having multiple confirmations in your trade. Whether it's volume, price action, trend lines, candlesticks, all that stuff kind of adds up to being that trader and finding those levels like you do and executing on a daily basis.
Yes. And that brings me to something else I wanted to cover in this video is to, how to identify entries when we're in a trend. Okay. And I want to talk more about, the in-depth reasoning behind this level on SPY, the why we entered here. If you can, I'm going to zoom out, see if we can see this better. But I think, right here. See, we come down, we've kind of formed a support right here. Okay, we more or less formed a support. Then we felt it here, pushed down. We broke through that support with this was a fast move. I've seen it happen. And what happens when you have them big move down, there's orders left unfilled, sell orders. So, what happens a lot of times they come back up, retest that. And if there's enough buyers there, they're going to push it on up. But if there's enough order setting there, we're going to continue on down. This is what I like to call a classic retest. I love taking these entries. And this is how you enter a trend, a downtrend. You don't want to enter off the big red candle down. You want to find the best entry that has the best risk to reward. I guess people say 3-to-1 is minimum. Occasionally I'll enter with 2-to-1 risk to reward, but 3-to-1 is, where you want to try to stay at with that.
And it allows you to get, a few more losses in there and not have to have such a high win rate if you're 3-to-1 rather than 2-to-1, because your wins are so much bigger. You can basically have a 66% loss rate. And if you have a 3-to-1 profit to loss, you can still be close to profitable, with those massive wins and small losses.
Yes, exactly. That's why I tell people all the time, you don't want to lose 50% of the time, but if you do, you want to still be making money. So,
yep. So given that, you also mentioned today, we were in the chat, you caught that first reject, right? And I'm looking at your screen, but then you also were mentioning, like, let's say someone missed that first entry, but they don't trade the first 15, 20 minutes. You would also mention you were watching that 404 for a reject, and that ended up printing too. So yes, my question is, what were you watching there, and how do you come up with that level for people that maybe can't trade the first 15, 20 minutes?
That's just them. I was watching price action mostly there, just looking for another entry. And this is basically the same trade I took up here. It's the same thing that happened here. We come back up, we retested this area of confluence.
And you can kind of see the confluence if you look at those pre-market bars down, that's support turn resistance.
Yes, exactly.
So that's beautiful. So mixing that, I guess what you're saying is mixing that confluence mixed with also watching price action and us looking weak is how you came up with that level.
Yes. I like, you say this often. I hear you, probably pick this up from you actually, but, fighting trend is just not good, especially when you have a confirmed downtrend, you're below that prior day close. I see a lot of people trying to take trades long, and that's okay when you get reversal candles. That's what, when you got reversal patterns. Another thing I look for when we have a nice, especially this deep of a pull down, this may seem simple, very basic, but it really has worked for me in the past, is these whole psychological numbers turn support. Especially on SPY. The 400 area was big. I'm going to zoom in here if I can. What time does that happen? So, exactly. It bounced 400 exactly.
And I think what can be said too is, let's say you were watching for a 400 bounce, because we both kind of trade similar in this respect.
Yeah.
If we touch 400 and you get that dollar bounce, you're probably going to, if you don't get your trim in, hopefully you did trim after that dollar move, 50, 60, 70 cent move on SPY. But if you didn't, and if we come down and test that again after such a short move up, there's a good chance if the trend is going against you that we're not going to get that bounce we were looking for. So that would be your sign. Hey, maybe I should cut this, if we didn't get that strength in, and if we're showing weakness again after we bounced for a small amount, because that shows those buyers aren't stepping in.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Anytime you take a trade like this against trend, it's a scalp. It's not a day trade. That's why I wanted to point out, because I see a lot of people like, you take these trades, you catch that one, it has a $1 bounce, they're like, that's not enough. I mean, when you're scalping, you can't get too greedy, especially when you're going against trend. And honestly, when I take trades like this on SPY, I like to take it with ES, because where you have a 30-cent bounce on SPY, that could be a few points, 3, 4, 5 points on ES, much better return.
Yep. And not to get off topic, but and something you've been talking a lot about in a lot of your teachings, you teach, a ton on YouTube and your other socials, but you've also been working with some funded accounts too, which if you link all your funded accounts, and I'm sure people would love to learn about that later in the future. You've talked about teaching that in your YouTube later in the future. You could, have, let's say, a few funded accounts to take that same trade and, make 2, 3, 4, 5x the money once you learn, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what I do. People's like, why don't you just trade with your own money? Because, you can literally open up 20 accounts through them, $50,000 accounts. You can open up 20 of these. They got a tool. It's like $150 to purchase this tool from them. It links them all together and they copy the trade. So if I took that, say, for instance, this bounce on SPY, what time did that happen? See, 3:13. So if we took this bounce here, we got in at 4,006. Let's just say we held for 3 points, and that's this, we just went one long. So that's $150 if you're trading ES. That, if you have 20 accounts, that's 150 times 20. You can see the significance there,
Yeah, that's like 2,300, right?
Yeah, and it's a little, just a little trade that don't last minutes. And you're not risking your own capital. I still trade options with my own capital. I don't plan on switching to the funded account. I don't even know if they offer them for options. But I definitely recommend looking into the future trading accounts.
That's awesome, bro. So I guess wrapping this up, man, what would be, if you had to give one thing to tell everyone listening, what would be one piece of advice you wish you had when you first started out trading that would have sped up your learning curve a lot and kept you going more than you already did?
Just to keep it simple. Like when I was first learning, I took, I've watched thousands of hours of, trying to learn these advanced day trading styles that just don't, I'm not saying they don't work, but they didn't work for me. And I've not seen them work for a whole lot of people. The most successful traders I know, like you, some other ones, their trading style is very simple, and it's so simple you would look at it and like, there's no way that works, but it works. They took the time. The reason it works, they took the time to get rid of all the nonsense that people are trying to sell and find out what makes them money. Like I see some people they just trade bear charts, and how they do that, they just watch price action and it works. Or like you're very good at identifying bounce levels, rejects, and you know how to handle that sort of trade, and it works. It's not like you're trying to read 20 different indicators. Literally, if people can just get enough discipline to follow a trading plan, I believe that anyone could do this, honestly.
Get enough discipline to follow a trading plan and actually following it. I think those words right there change any trader's life once they really start applying that. And then once they really dial in to building that trading plan and finding that edge, reading price action, and really just getting that screen time and experience.
Yes, exactly. People, they get into a bad trade. They're like, okay, I'm going to move my stop loss down, move it down. It's going to come back. And it don't come back, and they felt they did not follow their trading plan. And the most common thing, I'm sure you can relate to this, people will say, I keep having, I have a small win, small win, small win. I have one big loss, just wipes it out. It's
The
just
worst,
gone.
man. It's the trading epidemic, bro.
Yeah, and it just all comes back to not following your trading plan. If you can put in the time learning, and you can get a really good understanding, a good foundation, get a good basic foundation to build the more advanced stuff on. And if you can just learn enough to create a solid trading plan, I mean, I'm sure somebody could actually help you out with it. You don't have to have an insane amount of discipline. You just have to have enough to follow it.
It's truth. Well, that's awesome, man. When you get a second, maybe throw the host back my way, and let's wrap this up and give some people some final thoughts if you're down with it. So to wrap us up today, we went over some SPY trading strategies, some of how Grizz exactly trades, how he makes his money, and some super important trading psychology tips. Now, if you want to learn more from Grizz and myself, all the links will be below. He teaches just like myself, tons for free on social media, has a YouTube channel. We both live trade and team bull every single day. We both, from the bottom of our hearts to both having the same birthday, want to see you win. So those are my last remarks. Grizz, you got anything for everyone?
No, I mean, I hope this helps you all out. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. Would love to have you all join me on Instagram Live every morning. It's 100% free. I do live future trading. Then
Every morning.
Then I switch over to, we create an options trading watch list before market opens, get a game plan. Then we go into Team Bull. I get on voice there, trade live. I hope everyone comes and joins us there as well. But that's it. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Of course. Have yourself a blessed night, man. And let's end up crushing the rest of the week and the rest of 2022 and all of 2023, man. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, bro. Peace.
Now I rep the O, what you know about the west side? I just bought a whip, all in cash, live my best.